What's up, y'all? It's Truth Tiger, and I'm here to tell you that narcissists shrivel up and die without you. They are energy vampires. They are not people who can stand on their own. They are not people who can consist on their own. Like I say in many of my videos, they are cockroaches. They are not people who do well on their own at all, and they are not independent people. It's why they have to have a whole charade of enablers and flying monkeys and victims so they can gain their supply. And look, they need attention. They need validation more than anybody else. They are the most insecure people in the entire world. That's right, I said that. No one is more insecure than a narcissist. No one needs validation more than a narcissist. And I've seen this in my life where a lot of narcs, oh, please text me back, please text me back. And I've heard of that from other people. And I've had that in my life where I've gotten a million insane text messages from a narc. I've heard of, women who've had a narcissistic ex-boyfriend, and he's calling them with, different numbers because the number got blocked, and he's trying to hit her up with, fake social media accounts and all this kind of stuff. And when you leave these narcissists, they completely fall apart. I think it's part of the reason why they're so mean and nasty and controlling. It's because they want to keep you trapped. They don't want you to get out. They don't want you to leave, because if you do, then they're high and dry, and, they won't have any supply, Yeah, so, just exit, leave, and watch them just, literally, I've heard stories of, how narcissists get after, they finally get their freaking behind, dumped, after the trash gets taken out. And I've heard some stories that, they can't leave the house, they have all these health issues and stuff like that. I had a narc in my life, and I was finally sick of this fool, and I yelled on him about some lies he was telling. He was a church narc, a spiritual narc, whatever, and I yelled on him, and I'm like, I'm not putting up with this anymore. And then he walks away, and, oh, it's okay, it's all good, it's sorry you feel that way, doing all that. And then I hear later that he is admitted to the hospital for having, some kind of a heart issue or something like that, so, yeah, and that's also fear of exposure too. It's another video I made, but terrified of exposure. And it's just man, I know that when I leave, they're not going to have any friends, they're not going to have any support, they're not going to have anything going on. And for people who have been discarded, or for people who see the narc maybe being successful, maybe the narcissist secured more supply or whatever, it's not going to last. Don't think this narcissist is going to just keep going on. The new marriage is going to fail, the new relationship is going to fail, the new city they move to is going to not work out, the new friends aren't going to work out. I've seen it, I've seen it a lot in my life. And also, God's wrath is going to come to them. Some people think of it as karma. You could think of it like that, Karma's going to get them. God's wrath is going to get them. Their evil deeds and their lies are going to catch up to them, and it's going to explode in their face in a big way, I've seen work narcissists that are probably still unemployed after years, or are underemployed, and who really lost their careers because of this narcissistic BS they pulled, and they're I've gotten emails and calls, and a friend of the narcissist reach out to me. I've had all this stuff happen where they are they're not gonna outright beg, but in the bottom of their heart, underneath all the masks, they are begging for you back. They are on their hands and knees begging, please, 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 please. And I've heard stories from other people, and they won't show that on the outside, but on the inside they are dying. They are dying, you know? Yeah. Yeah, like, they literally shrivel up and die. And the thing is, like, they live off supply. I think of supply as more of a spiritual thing, like there's draining your life energy. And it's also just like they're insecure people, so they need constant validation and admiration and things like that. Like people who are healthy, you know, such as myself, like validation and admiration is nice. I'll take it, you know, I'll get some compliments from people, or someone leaves a nice comment on my video and I'm like, oh, that's nice, you know, and I'm like, oh, you know, that's a little nice thing, you know. But it's like, if I'm not getting that, I can still like function and be fine. And if I'm having haters or, you know, BS I'm having to deal with either in real life or online, I'm not like, oh, you know, people don't like me, they don't approve of me, they reject me, I can't deal with it, you know, like, it's just kind of like, oh man, that's a bummer, you know, that kind of brings me down a little bit, you know. But with the narc, it's like, that's their lifeblood. They have to get that attention, they have to get that admiration, they have to get it. And if they don't, like, they freak out, and they will do. And it's why they're so attention seeking and weird. It's like narcissists will like humiliate themselves to get attention, you know. And that's maybe kind of a separate video, but I've literally seen that, you know. Like, there was a work narcissist and he was really getting on my nerves, and I just didn't know how to handle him. He was playing all these weird games, and he had people triangulated against me and all this stuff. And I'm just like, man, this is a handful. Like, do I quit the job? What do I do? You know, and I didn't know much about narcissists back then, so I was just like, geez, man, this guy just has it out for me and is playing this weird, insane game that it just really makes me angry. And then, like, he would make, you know, self-deprecating comments. It's inappropriate stuff, but about how he wanted to suck on a certain body part of mine or something like that. Just, he would kind of say that when he knew that I was getting too pissed off and something might happen, you know. And I've had multiple male narcissists make comments of that sort, that they want to put themselves in a submissive position and suck on a certain body part of mine. So yeah, so it's just whatever. It could be some sexuality stuff that they're not being honest about, but I think it really is more down to the fact that they are down to humiliate themselves to get attention. And you know, that self-hating is coming out on on a pretty deep level, you know. And like, the narcs need us. The narcs need us badly. Like, they need us more than anything in the world. And they treat us like crap. They treat us like we're nothing. They treat us like we don't matter. They do all that crap. But in truth, it's the opposite. Like, they need us more than anything in the world, you know. They need us more than anything in the freaking world, you know. And they're so insecure, and they're coming from a place of negativity, and they're coming from a place of flipping everything around backwards. So, you know, it's all like reverse psychology and games with them. So they're like, well, I'm just gonna like treat them like crap and like lower their self-esteem so they won't, you know, so they'll like want to be with me, you know. It's like if there was some girl and I was like, oh man, like, she's too good for me, you know, like, she makes more money, she's better looking, whatever. And then I'm like, all right, I'm gonna like, you know, like, bag on her and like say nasty things to her and like tell her outfit looks bad and like tell her she's stupid and all this stuff, and like just to like knock her self-esteem down so she'll want to be with me. Like, that's what narcissists do in any situation, whether it's, you know, your parents or you know, family members, friends, whatever. But that's just an example I could think of, and I know a lot of women have had to deal with kind of men like that. It's what it is. And then deep down, they're just like, I'm so scared she'll leave. I'm so scared he'll leave. I'm not good enough for them. I'm not good enough, you know. And I guess for narcissistic parents, they don't think they're good enough for their own children, and they have a weird, secret, deep admiration and jealousy for their own children, you know. Like, I'm not even kidding. Like, narcs are deeply, you know, the narcissistic wife is jealous of her husband. The narcissistic husband is jealous of his wife. It just, I've even seen this with like my dad being like jealous of my mom, you know, like, oh, she just says what she thinks and that's her and, you know, whatever. I'm just like, what are you talking about, you know, weird freaking mofo? Like, and my mom was a narc too, and whatever. She had other issues going on there as well, but just like, I'm just like saying like, dude, you're really jealous, you know? It's like, I think of it like this, like, I'm 18 years old. I got some girlfriend who's 25 or whatever. She's like the manager of a grocery store or just something like that. And, you know, I'm, you know, whatever, just like don't have a good job or something. And I'm like, oh man, I wish I was making that money. But instead of, you know, instead it's like, you're actually adults, you know, more grown up than that. You're not in some situation as a young man of some, you know, older girl liking you or whatever. Like, it's actually a situation of like, you're married, you're supposed to be mature, you're living your lives, and just, it's like that's still happening. And it's like with narcissists, it's like there's things that are like, that maybe you do as kids or as teenagers or whatever that aren't really the best, but it's like, you know, hey, you're young, you're living life, you don't know anything, but they keep doing that behavior and they get worse and worse as they get older. It's like they regress. It's like they become more immature as they get older. You know, it's like they lose wisdom, you know, and they become just some more immature, more foolish, more stupid. So yeah, like walk away from the narcissists and just watch their life go to complete crap. Watch them get their karma, watch them get justice, watch God put his wrath on them, and, you know, your life will start to get better. You know, their life will get worse and your life will get better. And that's what I found with myself. And, you know, there was a big healing process and a lot of stuff I had to go through and deal with, but that's 100% what I found. And I know that there are certain narcissistic people in my life, you know, that are really regretting the way they treated me and are really regretting playing games with me, and are now like, things are way, way worse for them. And they're like, oh my God, you know, and yeah. And I mean, for the people who are younger, like, they have time to change, you know, for whatever the little entitled young punk narcissists I've had to deal with, sure. But for the ones who are older, you know, it's like, they don't have that much time to change. It's more crystallized, you know. If you're 21, 22, you're some young punk narcissist, like, you can make some changes, but you're freaking 40, like, you're screwed, you know. And I mean, it's not to say that they can't necessarily change, but it's just like, they're completely, you know, like, their lives are just messed, you know, like, things are not, things ain't gonna be going their way. And when you walk away, that's how you destroy them. Just walk away from them. All right. God bless everybody.